Ocean. That evidence? A 2-meter-long section of the plane's wing, called a flaperon, found last week washed up on a small island, thousands of kilometers from where crews had been searching. Malaysian officials say information provided by Boeing and the airline confirmed the match. A team of international experts is examining the debris at a laboratory in southern France. Their focus now, the condition of the flaperon, and what it says about how and why the plane broke apart. Jeff Semple, CBC News, London.
Meanwhile, an Air Canada flight has made a safe landing in Halifax after declaring an emergency today. The flight took off from Toronto this afternoon with 93 people on board and was bound for Deer Lake, Newfoundland, then diverted to Halifax. Officials say the aircraft developed a cabin pressurization issue, but the cause hasn't been determined yet. No one has been hurt, and the plane has now been taken out of service. A fishing boat crowded with migrants overturned in the Mediterranean Sea off Libya as rescuers approached today, and the Italian Coast Guard says at least 367 people have been saved. 25 bodies have been found. Officials say as many as 600 people may have been aboard the boat. Police in Nashville, Tennessee were called to a suburban movie theater this afternoon after a man with a gun and a hatchet was spotted there. The witnesses report hearing a burst of gunfire. A SWAT team returned fire, and police say the gunman is now dead. There were no other fatalities. U.S. President Barack Obama offered a detailed defense of his government's support for the Iranian nuclear deal. It limits Iran's capacity to develop a nuclear bomb in exchange for the lifting of international sanctions. Now, critics say Iran can't be trusted, and Washington has compromised too greatly. But in an address at American University in Washington, Obama told the crowd that history shows diplomacy goes further than confrontation.
In the end, that should be a lesson that we've learned from over a decade of war. On the front end, ask tough questions. Resist conventional wisdom and the drumbeat of war. Worry less about getting away with Greek. Worry more about getting it right.
Members of the U.S. Congress vote next month on a resolution approving or rejecting the pact. Finally, what a difference a month can make. Only a few weeks ago, Bank of Canada Governor Stephen Poloz was calling Canada's poor export performance puzzling. But today, numbers released by Statistics Canada show a significant improvement. The country's trade deficit decreased dramatically in June as the sale of exports grew. The CBC's Ellen Mauro reports.
You're doing a good job.
Stephen Borsuk runs a family-owned knitwear company in Toronto that produces coats, sweaters, berets, much of it for sale outside of Canada. So news that Canadian exports surged in June has him smiling.
I think every business person loves to see good news, so hopefully it'll spur them on a little bit to think that better times are around the corner.
In June, exports soared by 6.3%, the biggest month-on-month rise since the end of 2006. Dramatically reducing the gap between what Canada imports versus what it exports by millions of dollars.
Very good news, I think.
Benjamin Reeses is a senior economist at the Bank of Montreal. After 5 months of negative growth, he says the new numbers show the Canadian economy could be on the mend.
We're thinking that the second quarter, the data we've seen probably for May, we marked the bottom.
Economists are crediting, at least in part, the low loonie with making Canadian exports more attractive. Ellen Morrow, CBC News, Toronto.
And that is CBC News. I'm Sitar Series.
You're listening to CBC Radio 2 with the provincial weather forecast on CBC Band. It's looking pretty cloudy throughout northern Saskatchewan.